Once upon a time in the region of Peloponnese, the city-state of Ancient Messene was born. Its origins can be traced back to the Bronze Age, where it was founded by Achaean Greeks under the name of Ithome. However, after falling under the control of Sparta, the city was destroyed, and its inhabitants were dispersed. Thebans invaded the area after the Battle of Leuctra, and in 369 BC, Epaminondas rebuilt the city on the ruins of Ithome. The previous inhabitants returned, and Messene flourished. The ruins of this great city have been excavated and partly preserved for study, with the most substantial remains dating from Hellenistic and Roman times. Late Roman Messene suffered greatly after the AD 365 Crete earthquake, but it was reconstructed as a Christian city in the beginning of the 5th century AD. While it became the seat of a local bishop, the Byzantine Dark Ages during the 7th and 8th centuries brought new populations to the region, causing a deep crisis in the city. In the Middle Byzantine era, the village of Vulcano, once the upper city of Messene, experienced new growth after the 10th century. It survived both the Frankish and Ottoman periods, ultimately changing its name to Mavromedy. It still stands today, occupying what was once the upper city around the ancient fountain identified as Clepsydra. The story of Messene is one that spans centuries, but its ruins continue to attract visitors and inspire admiration for the city that once stood there. The Asclepion of Epidaurus in ancient Greece is a historical site that has been intriguing archaeologists for centuries. The first official excavation was conducted by the French Scientific Commission of the Morea Expedition in 1829, just after the Greek War of Independence. Excavations continued intermittently until 1895 when Themistoklis Sophoulis of the Athens Archaeological Society began systematic excavation. Notable archaeologists such as George Oikonomos, Anastasios Orlandos, and Petros Themlis contributed and curated the extensive finds uncovered, which are now housed in a remarkable museum surrounded by the old city walls. The site's cultural importance was recognized by the European Union in 2011 when it was awarded the European Union Prize for Cultural Heritage/Europa Nostra Award. Today, the excavation is still ongoing under the direction of Professor Petros Themlis. He collaborates with several international institutions, including the Open University of Cyprus, which recently discovered an early Christian church east of the Temenos of Asclepius at the site. With each new excavation, the Asclepion of Epidaurus reveals more of its rich and fascinating history. In the ancient world, Pylos was known as one of the most powerful cities both economically and politically. They controlled the entire Messenia region during the Bronze Age. A Linear B tablet that was discovered there, PYCN3, contains information that mentions a specific location called Mazana in the local Mycenaean Greek language. This tablet goes into detail about how groups of men from different regions in the Peloponnesus each donated an ox to an official named Duigius. It is believed that he was stationed at the Zeus sanctuary, however, this is not confirmed. The groups of men were members of the Coast Watchers, which was an organization responsible for keeping watch on various locations along the coastline. Sadly, their efforts were unsuccessful, as Pylos was burned down by unknown assailants who arrived by sea a few months later. What makes things even more interesting is that some of the Coast Watchers were actually Olympiaoi from Erymanthos. John Bennett, a well-known researcher, believes that Mazana actually refers to the location of Messene, and that the Ithome area had already been named that, which was later reutilized by Epaminondas nearly 1,000 years later. After the Battle of Leuctra in Boeotia, 371 BC, the Messenian Helots seized the opportunity to rebel against their Spartan overlords once again. Led by Epaminondas, the victorious Theban general, an alliance comprising Boeotians, Argives, and Messenians was formed with the aim of establishing an independent Peloponnesus. To achieve this, Epaminondas decided to build 3 fortified cities, Megalopolis and Mantinia in Arcadia, and Messene in Messenia. Taking due diligence, Epaminondas consulted with the gods, the spirits of past rulers, and the heroes, including Queen Messene before deploying construction engineers and inviting artisans to join the effort. In only 85 days, the alliance with the engineers and artisans completed the walled city of Messene, which was built on empty Ithome, the site of the previous Ithome. With ample agricultural land and spring captures, the city had the capacity to withstand a siege indefinitely. After the completion of the mission and the departure of the Theban army, the Spartans made an attempt to retake Messenia. However, the newly constructed city of Messene proved to be a formidable obstacle against them. This marked the final end of the long-standing dispute between Messenia and Sparta and the beginning of an alliance with the Macedonian conquest of Greece. The Messenian exiles, who had returned mainly from Sicily and North Africa, took control of the new city after the alliance's departure. They spoke a Doric dialect and had maintained a transient community in exile or diaspora for around 300 years. Pausanias confirmed that even to this day, the exiles preserved the dialect in its purity better than anywhere else in the Peloponnese. The exiles restored were not from the original Achaean refugees, but were the Doricized population that developed in the 7th century BC under the subsequently dispossessed Heraclid dynasty of Messene.
Do you want to explore more Greek mythology stories? Who do you want to see featured next? Subscribe and leave a comment below to let me know. I'll see you in the next video.